From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, gunmen kill cattle merchant in Taraba, abduct his wife, 2 sons. Ahead of APC convention, President Buhari meets principal officers of the National Assembly. Motorists in Abuja spend nights on long fuel queues. And on the foreign scene, Ethiopia declares immediate truce to allow aid into Tigray. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in full. Kidnappers on Wednesday killed a popular cattle merchant, Gidat Hassan, and abducted his wife and 2 sons in Jalingo, Taraba State. The spokesperson for the Taraba State Police Command, DSP Usman Abdullahi, who confirmed the incident, said the gunmen, numbering about 12, killed the businessman when they attacked his residence located at Malang Odu village. Meanwhile, the victim has been buried at Jika Dadari main burial ground on Thursday. Bandits have also killed 4 farmers on their farmland at Gatawa district in Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto state. The leader of the Vigilante group in the Sabon Birni area, Musa Muhammad, aka Blackie, confirmed the story that bandits attacked the farmers on Wednesday, while the people of the area thought that the farmers were abducted until their bodies were recovered. Meanwhile, other reports say the attack followed the refusal of the locals to sell their unharvested plants to herders to feed their animals. However, a spokesman of the Sokoto Police Command, ASP Sanusi Abubakar, could not be reached for comment on the attack. Police in Kano have arrested an 18-year-old Abdulsamad Suleiman of Rei Chirenchi quarters, Gwale local government area of Kano State, and his accomplice, 17-year-old Muazzam Lawan, of the same address, for killing 21-year-old housewife Rukaya Jamilu in Kano. In a statement issued by the police spokesperson, SP Abdullahi Kiawa said during investigation, Suleiman confessed that he went to the house of the deceased as his relative and met her on the bed. However, after stealing 3 mobile phones in the house and realized that the crime will be traced back to him, he used a wooden-made pestle and repeatedly hit the deceased on her head, as well as her 2 children, and left with the mobile phones. He further confessed that he gave one of his mobile phones to the friend and sold the other 2 at the rate of 12,000 naira. Meanwhile, on rushing the victims to the Murtala Muhammad Specialist Hospital, Kano, doctors examined the housewife and confirmed her death, while the 2 children sustained injuries and are receiving treatment. Defense Headquarters says a total of 47,975 insurgents and their families have surrendered to troops of Operation Hatnkai in the northeast from September 2021 till date. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Onyoku, stated this while giving an update on military operations between March 10th and March 24th on Thursday in Abuja. Onyoku said the achievement of the military within the period included killing of 17 insurgents, arrest of 35, recovery of 34 AK-47, 5 Dane guns and 9 locally made guns. He said the troops also recovered 270 rustled cows, 3 motorcycles and 13 bicycles used by the insurgents for movement. According to him, while 70,000 Islamic State for West Africa province and Boko Haram terrorists from different locations surrendered, troops also rescued 27 civilians in the last 2 weeks, among other successes. And now for a look at politics. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged leaders and members of the All Progressive Congress, APC, to channel their energies into improving fortunes of the party in the forthcoming elections. The president gave the advice on Thursday while receiving APC National Assembly leadership at the State House, Abuja, led by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila. President Buhari, who reminded members of the proximity of the election dates set by INEC, also admonished that positions should be harmonized with a bigger picture of winning elections and providing good governance. He also urged them to avoid squabbling that easily distracts and creates disharmony.
We have a couple of days to National Convention, and we must collectively ensure the success of the event. As you all know, the National Convention of our party, which we have committed, is holding on the 26th March 2022. And we cannot afford to do anything that will jeopardize the chances of the party in the 2023 general elections. The limited time frame of the INEC timetable does not permit us any room for delay or further squabbling. We must therefore, in the light of this reality, consistently keep our eyes on the ball and refuse any distraction. A critical segment of our national democratic process is the National Assembly. Being representatives of our people from all over the country, the National Assembly, especially the Ninth Assembly, has exhibited commitment to a peaceful, democratic process in its conduct and uttermost maturity in its relationship with other arms of government.
All Progressives Congress, APC, in Anambra has picked 180 delegates from the 21 local government areas in the state to represent the state at the party's national convention scheduled for Saturday, 26 March in Abuja. State chairman of the party, Basil Ejidike, said this during the inauguration of the state, zonal and local government executive committee members at the party headquarters in Awka. He said the party has all it takes to win elections and is committed to the cause, calling on members to reposition the party.
Shall be faithful, and bear true allegiance to the All Progressive Congress.
We are going to the convention with about 180 delegates. We are prepared for the battle ahead. Anambra State should be part of the mainstream politics. The federal government has done so much for our people, and we must find a way to reciprocate. And the only way we can reciprocate is to be part of the mainstream.
Fuel scarcity still continues to linger, forcing motorists in Abuja to spend nights at filling stations on long queues with the hope of getting enough fuel to run their daily activities. Sagir Ibrahim visits NNPC filling station at Katampe area of the FCT to examine the situation and files this report.
It is almost 10 p.m. and we're at the NNPC filling station at the Katampe extension, where we've come to witness the mammoth crowd that have come to get fuel this night. Now, if you would follow me, you would see from this side that there are a couple of vehicles which stretches until the end of that bridge. They've all queued here just to get fuel so that they will be able to run their daily activities within and around the FCT. We spoke with some of the residents as well as motorists who stay within these areas and have queued at the filling station here and have spent countless numbers of hours just to get fuel. And during our interview with them, they had this to say.
It has been a disaster to us, because why I call disaster, we come here, you will queue for more than 7-8 hours on the sun. And the sun will be, this is a hot period now. So anywhere it will be hot for you, you cannot stand. That's why I have changed my mind. I will work in the daytime. Anytime in the evening, I'll come and queue for fuel.
It can take more than sometimes 8 hours. I'm a taxi driver. I may be wake up around 1 o'clock to come and get fuel. If I don't wake up that period, I won't get fuel. And if I wake up at 7 o'clock to get fuel, me to get fuel around 2 or 3 o'clock p.m., I can't have strength to work again. That day I have already wasted. I buy fuel 2 times in a day, 2 times in a week. I bought fuel day before yesterday. I used it to work yesterday, work today. So if I don't get fuel tomorrow, then I won't work tomorrow again. All those things is a punishable to us. It can't be fair. Like a woman to live in family, to go for fuel queue, it's a risky.
Yeah, I've been here for like 2 hours or so now. There are times that when I even come here, like I come by this time and until 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock before I get fuel. Because of the fuel scarcity, how I work is that because I'm an Uber driver, so I take my fuel in the night, then during the daytime, I work. So sometimes I don't get fuel on time. So there were times when I had to sleep in the filling station because of how difficult it is to get fuel. And sometimes even when you're trying to get it, because of the way people are rushing into the filling station, you end up bashing your car, scratching your car. Like if you check my car all over, it has been scratched.
Today I've been here for almost 2 hours now, and very soon, I think in less than 30 minutes, I should be in.
I spent an hour because I came in, like 2 hours. I came in around 7, and this is almost after 9 or to 9, so 2 hours now. I'm supposed to be in my house resting. Definitely I have to come in because if I say let me come tomorrow, I won't be able to meet up work. But probably after work, we'll be so stressed out. So this is the best way I decided to let me probably come and queue up so that tomorrow morning I can plan and go to work. So it's so hectic. It's nothing. Please, I definitely want the federal government to do something about this.
Now I've spent less than 1 hour now. I don't know how many hours that I will still spend here before I could be able to get fuel. Meanwhile, I'm supposed to be at my home. All our leaders that we have, all of them, they know what is happening now. But what they're supposed to do, the necessary action so that this problem it can be rectified. Because everybody, we are so tired for this. It's only God that can help us out of this issue.
Commercial drivers, ride-hailing services providers like Uber and Bolt drivers, as well as private vehicle owners have all complained of the same thing, that it takes an average of 2 hours to get fuel from this particular filling station, with some having to spend the entire night in long queues just to get fuel. Now, while they continue to bear the brunt of the scarcity, they are hopeful that the government will quickly address the situation to bring succor to motorists in the FCT and in the entire country. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
Meanwhile, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Gombe State Chapter on Thursday, began a warning strike over alleged harassment by some personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. The warning strike worsened the fuel scarcity in the state until intervention of the state governor in Wayahaya for IPMAN to rescind the decision. Ibrahim Ismail has the report.
Filling stations belonging to members of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, are all shut down in Gombe State as of Thursday morning. An anonymous source confirmed to Trust TV that the action is to protest over alleged unlawful arrest and extortion of some members of IPMAN by some personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. The strike has plunged motorists and residents of Gombe to a deep fuel scarcity, worsening the current fuel crisis.
The major problem we face is harassment from the civil defense and intimidation of our members, more especially the station managers and station workers. So we decided to shut down our filling stations because of this intimidation and harassment of our members. But with the intervention of His Excellency, the Governor of Gombe State, Alhaji Muhammad Inuwa Yahya Dambajan Gombe, with his intervention, he called us via telephone conversation. We discussed a lot with him. He intervened and he asked us to at least exercise patience and he will do something about it. So being a law-abiding citizen and as the chief security of the state, we have no option than to follow his directive.
Some Okada riders and residents of Gombe said the one-day warning strike by IPMAN has affected them. I woke up with a quarter liter of petrol in my bike. I went round, but all filling stations were locked. They said they are on strike. Now none of the filling stations is selling in Gombe. Now even if you get the fuel, you can't be moving like before, looking for passengers. You must make a good timing so that you won't waste the fuel for nothing.
ya zamanto kuma ka ƙona min ba kuɗi.
In fact, this fuel scarcity has affected us a lot, most especially for us students. I cannot only say that it's only for us students, but the entire community, I can say, the entire populace is affected because while we used to go for 15 naira, at least you can buy an Okada for 15 naira, it's now 100 naira. You see, it is affecting us. Sometimes why they can even ask you to, I cannot pay more than 100 naira.
Ipman has now suspended the strike after the intervention of the Gombe state government when contacted to respond over the allegations against the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC in Gombe. The spokesperson of the organization said he is not ready to speak on the matter as at the time of filing this report from Gombe. Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Operatives of the Department for State Security in Katsina Command arrest suspected hackers and job racketeers in the state. The job racketeering syndicate reportedly defrauded victims of over 30 million naira. Jamil Mabe has the report.
My name is Suleiman Bello. I'm the Assistant Director in charge of...
As part of their mandate, the State Security Service paraded suspects of cybercrime and job racketeering in Katsina State. The operation was carried out by the Department of State Security, Katsina Command.
As you all know, as part of our mandate,
during which syndicates of hackers and job racketeers were traced and arrested.
Vested with responsibility of checkmating.
Briefing newsman Suleiman Bello said part of the state service mandate is to checkmate criminal activities concerning internal security that involves cyber crimes and economic saboteurs.
We are vested with responsibility of checkmating criminal activities concerning internal security.
The hackers and fraudsters were arrested at Ungwar Sanusi area and Konan Faruqai in Kaduna State.
Several operations have been carried out by the Katsina State Command of the DSS under the leadership of Abdul Mumin Abdullahi Danja, FDC FSI, during which syndicates of suspected hackers and job racketeers were tracked and arrested. The suspects, Imrana Yusuf, 30 years, Abba Rabiu, 25 years, and Ahmed Musa, 23 years, specialize in hacking into GSM numbers of top government officials and politically exposed persons in the state and outside.
In a similar operation, the command has busted a suspected criminal syndicate that specializes in defrauding and swindling innocent job seekers by providing them with fake appointment letters of Katsina State Teachers Service Board and the State Universal Basic Education Board in exchange for huge amount of money. One set of HP desktop computer, 2 laptops computers, 2 flash drives, 4 mobile phones, fake appointment letters, and transaction receipts were recovered. The syndicate leader of job racketeers, Rilwanu Bala, a resident of Katsina, shares how they defraud their victims. We were brought here because of fake offers. At first, I was the one that has this problem. One Bella introduced me into this business. One day, he came to our office at Health Service Management Board and he told me he has ways of securing offers because they are the ones doing the work. I told him, no problem, I know people. I called one Mubarak who linked me up with Yahoo. I called him and we spoke. He told me that there are people on ground. So Bello brought samples, which brought in this boy into the activity. We gave him the sample of the form which offers are printed on. He made 30, 40, over 90 samples. I am the one who knows the people. All the money collected from people came through me. We collected over 27 to 30 million from people. Within 1 year, they have defrauded people of money worth 30 million naira. The suspects would be charged to court after investigations. Jamil Mabai, Trust TV News, Katsina.
The Aragbiji of Iragbiji land, Oba Abdul Rashid Ayotunde Olabomi Odundun IV, has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to ensure justice for his son, Saheed Olabomi, allegedly murdered by a policeman. At a press conference in his palace in Iragbiji, the traditional ruler said Olabomi was killed by a policeman and that the family wants justice for the deceased. Hamid Oyebode's report is here presented.
Iragbiji, the hometown of Governor of Osun State, Gboyega Oyetola, is thrown into mourning on July 27 last year when Saheed Olabomi was shot dead at Okeoniti area of Oshogbo, the state capital. The incident resulted into riots as youths blocked major roads in Oshogbo, protesting against the killing. The family has since insisted on getting justice for the deceased. The traditional ruler of the town, Iragbiji of Iragbiji land, Oba Abdurrashid Olabomi, wondered why the policeman that killed Olabomi is not prosecuted. The monarch called on President Muhammadu Buhari to compel the Inspector General of Police to arrest and prosecute the policeman.
We want to call on the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to kindly intervene in an attempt to very clear case of murder, all because the perpetrator is a police personnel. 2, we want government to direct and the authorities concerned to direct that the AIG Zone 11, Osun State, the police commissioner, Commander Mopo 39, to release the 4 indicted police officers to Osun State High Court for their arraignment, which is coming up on 25th of April 2022. We also call on the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Osman Alkali Baba, to direct the AIG Zone 11 and his other co-travelers to revisit the matter and allow justice to take its full course on the culprits. 4, we solicit the support of all media, civil society organizations, the political class, and all Nigerians, so that the blood of Saheed Olabomi, who sadly left his aged parents, wife and children, due to the untimely death, so that the blood will not be in vain. We call on Nigerians to save us from the pains of losing our son and not finding justice.
The police public relations officer, Osun State Police Command Yemisi Okbalola, said the policeman that killed Olabomi has been arrested, detained and dismissed by the Commissioner of Police over the matter, but he appealed at the higher level against his dismissal.
It is not true that we just sweep that incident under carpet. It's not true at all. The room process went well. Immediately it happened, the CP organized for the room trial for the officer, and those ones that are found not culpable were released. They are given punishment that is commensurate with what they did, and the one that shot was dismissed by the CP, and when he was dismissed, he went to the higher authority to appeal. He went there and he appealed. It is the result of that appeal that we are still waiting for now.
And notable civil society activists in Africa have identified absence of development as a missing link in the effective democratization of the continent in the face of rising wave of military interventions. They made the observation at a panel conversation on the sidelines of the unveiling of a building for the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Trust TV's Shafiq Suleiman reports.
Panelists at the forum, including former Vice President of the Gambia, Fatimata Tambajang, and Ekiti State Governor Kaide Fahimi, believe that inability to connect development to democratization is undermining the struggle to entrench democracy on the continent, which is also grappling with selfless leadership deficit.
That Nigeria, being the big brother of Africa, is rejecting bills that are supposed to not give gifts to women, but give their inalienable rights. recognize their inalienable rights, recognize the fact that they are a signatory to all international instruments on human rights, and women's rights are human rights.
This democracy will be a democracy without content. We have to continue to push and get as many more people in that age bracket and in that demographic belt involved. But they also must not have this sense of entitlement, which you tend to find in many of our younger people.
Professor Jibrin Ibrahim, who is the current director of the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, Hidayat Hassan, amongst other top civil society activists, underscored the imperative of democratic credentials and intellectual capacity as benchmarks for attaining efficient democratic governance, not only in Nigeria, but the continent of Africa as a whole.
What sort of democracy can we build when the democracy record of its leadership don't have to enter the negotiation of why that person should emerge as leader?
And as a group who calls ourselves a democratic think tank, there is a need to revisit these issues, to internally look at what is actually leading to this democratic reversal. What do we do to help in terms of reinstilling or reinvigorating democracy?
The conversation also highlights the effective role of women and youth in advancing the cause of democracy and good governance, as it tasked the National Assembly to have a rethink on its recent rejection of fundamental gender bills. The forum was convened to interrogate the quality and content of democracy in Africa with a view to addressing the existing fault lines for the realization of its true meaning, which is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And Kaduna State Government has relaxed the 24-hour curfew imposed on Kaura and Jama'a local government areas from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. This is contained in a statement issued on Thursday by the State Commissioner of Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, after a review of the security situation presented by security agencies at a peace engagement. According to the statement, there will be movement in the areas from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., while the curfew is to be observed from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. daily. The government reiterated that the initial declaration of the 24-hour curfew is to avert escalation of violence, while monitoring of the situation will continue, and should security assessments necessitate it, the government will not hesitate to revert to a 24-hour curfew. You're watching Trust TV News Hour. Coming up after the break, knitting clothes for decades. This and more after the break. You stay with us.
Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. The virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. These particles range from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're near someone who has COVID-19, or by touching a contaminated surface and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The virus spreads more easily indoors and in crowded settings. Maintain a safe distance from others, at least 2 meters, even if they don't appear to be sick. Wear a mask in public, especially indoors or when physical distancing is not possible. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated. Properly fitted masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from the person wearing the mask to others. Masks alone do not protect against COVID-19 and should be combined with physical distancing and hand hygiene. Protect yourself and others around you by knowing the facts and taking appropriate precautions. Follow advice provided by your local health authority. This message is brought to you by Trust TV.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust TV News Hour. Now look at our top stories. Kidnappers on Wednesday killed a popular cattle merchant, Gidado Hassan, and abducted his wife and 2 sons in Jalingo, Taraba State. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged leaders and members of the All Progressive Congress, APC, to channel their energies into improving fortunes of the party in the forthcoming elections. And now to other news. Lagos State Government has shut down Eko Bridge after a makeshift shaft and containers in Apombong area were raised by fire on Wednesday. The fire, which started around 3 a.m. on Wednesday, destroyed the bridge as property and goods worth millions of naira were burnt down. The incident caused slow movement of vehicles in the community, creating traffic gridlock, leaving many commuters stranded, while traders complained about their losses. A trader who identified himself as Matthew Okechukwu said the fire affected businesses and he has lost goods worth over 20 million naira.
The fire service to quench the situation. They left, the thing started burning again. They were able to escape, to get this out this morning. Just this one, this today being the second day.
What would you say is the cause of the fire?
Frankly speaking, I don't know, God knows. But what I heard is that the fire started at 2 a.m. Anybody doing business is not expected to be in the vicinity by 2 a.m. So it's only the people within here that should be able to tell us what happened. We are on our home. It was around 5 a.m. I got a call that this place is on fire. So I had to rush down here. Getting here, it becomes a reality. I thought it's a dream. It looks like a dream to me.
So you've told us that one shop
worth 20 million naira. My shop over there. Yes, my shop over there is over 20 million naira worth of goods there.
And it was affected by fire also.
Not one is over there. That's not what you're seeing. I'm bringing us. I still have goods there. I don't know.
Everything, how much now?
I cannot even sit down and start calculating. I'll stand up here and calculate it. It's a huge loss on our side. I don't know why how in this
billions. It's breaking materials. It should help us.
Does it come to our head?
Up to our head. So that you have more than 500,000, 500 of the 500 people selling there.
500 of over 5,000 people selling here.
Yeah, 5,000 selling under this bridge.
And their goods were affected.
Everybody.
Because it started in the night. At around 2 o'clock. I'm not putting money very early in the morning. Most of us live outside Lagos. That's my container there. Everything. Before I can just see fire. Everything.
Primary healthcare centers in Nigeria require a 2.7 trillion naira capital investment over a 10-year period to be transformed. Critical stakeholders at the National Health Summit in Abuja said these centers have been left under-resourced and weak for a very long period of time. Trust TV's Aisha Saleh reports.
The Federal Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, organizes the 2022 Primary Healthcare Summit in Abuja. This move is in line with reimagining the primary healthcare in Nigeria. The National Primary Health Summit
brought together government actors, health stakeholders, donor agencies and partners, religious and traditional leaders to discuss and find ways of making sure that the primary healthcare sector works. Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Faisal Shuaib, stressed that a radical transformation of the primary healthcare system in Nigeria is by tackling the challenges and implementing the 4-point agenda of the strategic approach with a 2.7 trillion naira financial investment over a 10-year period.
This slide talks about the 10 years strategy for reimagining primary healthcare. I've talked about access, increasing and improving the quality of human resources. I've talked about the availability of equipment, essential medicines, health promotion and demand stimulation, program delivery, the right enablers such as financing, information management, partnerships, technology systems, governance, performance management, and transformative management. To get to the right primary healthcare standard, we've done the math. It will require about 2.7 trillion naira. This is about $6.5 billion over a 10-year period. This covers what we need for operations and also capital expenditures.
Minister of Health Ihanire Osage reiterated government's commitment towards the need to achieve the global standard of healthcare centers.
In plain terms, we urgently need to ensure the availability of service at designated communities, which is at least one functional primary healthcare center per ward, along with an adequate complement of human resource for health, comprising of nurses, midwives, skilled birth attendants, community health workers, etc.
In reaction to the financial demands of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed, suggested the need to source funds from the Federation account.
Right now, it is the federal government that is contributing from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Our suggestion is that it should be from the Federation account. It would mean that the accretion to that fund significantly increases. So the states, we hope we will have your understanding in this regard, and the National Assembly should do the needful.
Meanwhile, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo noted that more attention should be given to health insurance as government budget alone cannot fund healthcare, while calling for public-private partnership to reposition the primary healthcare system.
Healthcare insurance is an important pool of resources for funding healthcare on the scale that will be required for a country of 200 million people or more. Encouraging and supporting serious private sector interventions. And two examples come to mind. We've heard one already, which is the Adopt a Primary Health Facility Program.
The focal point of the deliberations at the summit is a strategic approach through a 4-point based agenda, such as the revitalization of the primary health care through access and service delivery in the primary healthcare centers scattered across Nigeria, among others. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Emir of Das, Alhaji Usman Bilyaminu Uthman, wants a stop to stigmatization and discrimination against women based on health challenges like vesicovaginal fistula. The traditional ruler said the disease can be cured within the shortest time. The Emir speaks at his palace when Breakthrough Action Nigeria organized a discussion on the plight of women in Bauchi State. Adamu Imam reports.
During the round discussion, women group in Das gathered at the Emir's palace to fine-tune issues affecting their plight, while the Emir of Das made emphasis on health-related matters as one of the gender-based violence. We have a collective groups that are trustworthy to take up these responsibilities. The group's association is so wide that our members cut across 34,000. They are not only located in Bauchi Metropolis alone, but in other local government areas of the state and other communities. We have 6,640 communities, and we have 5 members in each community, such as religious, community, as well as traditional leaders, all because of this distribution to orphans and vulnerable. The coordinator, Breakthrough Nigeria Bauchi State, appreciated the effort of women group for participating and explaining that women should be given priority at all times.
The purpose is actually, like I said, to celebrate the International Women's Day and also to bring to light some of the issues concerning women and also men, because we're also talking about gender here. So we brought people from Ministry of Justice, from Ministry of Women Affairs, from the Office of the First Lady of Bauchi State, and also from the community, and as well as religious leaders, where we discuss issues surrounding women empowerment, issues surrounding women on equality, and all of that.
Sheikh Dangazumi Tafawa Balewa and others were among the discussants at the occasion. Says human rights is one of the focal points in dealing with women agony, as well as breaking the bias. They also appeal for male counterparts to be careful in trying to deprive women's rights.
To attend health centers, hospital, and maternity. Some of these rights have been denied because of the manipulation of culture, manipulation of religion. These are the things that is need for the combined efforts by to come with also legislation in which these rights should be guaranteed and also should be practiced. And also there is a need for enlargement in conjunction between emirate councils, local government, and the state government, especially the coordinated by the Ministry of Health, in which the family health and the maternal health should be taught. The child space and the family planning, education, population policy should be taught. And also, therefore, a kind of enlightenment should be carried out by the ulama, by the imams, especially during the Quranic exegesis, tafsir, during the month of Ramadan, also during the sermon.
They, however, noted that during the discussion that little money contribution is powerful venture going forward for women, and also said maternal care is very important. Husbands should desist from discouraging women going for antenatal care and other human endeavor. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Zamfara State Government is disinfecting all poultry markets and farms to prevent the outbreak of avian influenza, otherwise known as bird flu, in the state. The State Commissioner for Forestry and Livestock Development, Abdullahi Ibrahim, and that of Information, Ibrahim Dosara, at the flag-off of the exercise in Gusau, the state capital, said measures are being put in place to safeguard live birds and residents of Zamfara State against the avian influenza. The report.
Prevention, they say, is better than cure. Perhaps it is against this backdrop that the Zamfara State government is taking precautionary measures to disinfect all live bird markets and poultry farms across the state to prevent the outbreak of bird flu. The Commissioner for Forestry and Livestock Development, Abdullahi Ibrahim, said the state government had received information from neighboring state and Niger Republic of outbreak of bird flu, and that is why the Governor Bello Muhammad's administration is being proactive to prevent the disease. He described the avian influenza as highly contagious and is deadly not only to birds but to human beings.
And to pleasure, taking precautionary measures to curtail the entry of a very highly pathogenic avian flu virus in Zamfara State. We have received information from various sources across the neighboring states of the outbreak of this avian flu, which is highly pathogenic. It also affects humans, humans as well. And we also have similar information from the Niger Republic. And because of that, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawalli, decided to take a precautionary measure to disinfect all the bird markets and the poultry farms across the state. We have also taken a lot of measures to inform the public on how to handle live birds, especially those whose business is having to do with this lab-based Ebola. These lab-based were been informed by the specialists that when they are properly cooked or roasted or fried, they are okay for consumption. But the problem is those people who are handling them when they are alive or when they are raw. This is why the ministry took a lot of measures to inform the public across the state. So this is what we've been doing for almost 2 or 3 years. Thank you.
The Commissioner enjoined the residents of the state to continue to be supportive of the state government to ensure they curtail the outbreak of bird flu and protect the live birds in the state.
I have directed all the media organizations in the state, including privates, federal and state, to engage into the sensitization exercise for this event and to liaise with the Ministry of Livestock to ensure that things are done, people are aware, people are given the protective advice so that we save lives. Well, very encouraging because many people have been calling to ask questions. When I went to the Ministry for Foreign Affairs, I met a lot of people having to do with the livestock business, asking questions and giving guidelines on how to protect themselves and protect their animals and livestock so that together we save human lives. To be more cooperative to the Ministry of Forestry and Livestock Development, to also always ask what they can do and what they cannot do as regards to this sensitization and the exercise as a whole.
Ibrahim Dosara and Abdullahi Ibrahim asked poultry farmers and dealers on live birds to maintain hygiene, proper disposal of dead birds, disinfect poultry houses and farms regularly with a view to preventing the virus from making its way into the state.
Now, due to population increase and urbanization, maize demand in the country is estimated to increase at an average of 3.2% per annum. This is stated at the unveiling of second maize pyramid in Kaduna under the Anchor Borrower program. Fatima Saleladen has more.
These are the maize pyramids unveiled today. There are 30 to 50 tons of maize in a single pyramid, all produced by the Nigerian farmers under the program of the Anchor Borrower of the CBN.
The first maize pyramid was in 2021 in Katsina State. The Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, represented by the Director Development and Finance Department, Yusuf Yila, says Nigerians will continue to see such pyramids for other commodities through the program in order to ensure food security in the country.
The maize revolution was birthed over 6 years ago under the Anchor Borrowers program, with the overall objective of facilitating food security by increasing local production of maize, safeguarding the activities of smallholder maize farmers, stimulating rapid economic recovery, enhancing rural livelihoods, increasing job opportunities through funding of smallholder farmers, and supporting private sector players through prime anchors, also to engage in backward integration for self-sufficiency and conservation of scarce foreign exchange.
The host, Governor Nasir El-Rufai, represented by the Commissioner of Agriculture, Garba Hussaini, says Kaduna, as an agricultural state, will always remain a key player in the agricultural sector of the country.
Kaduna State is the largest producer of maize in Nigeria. It is our strong belief and conviction that through agriculture, Nigeria will achieve food security, create jobs, social inclusion, enhance livelihood, stimulate growth of small and medium-sized enterprises. Kaduna State, as you are all aware, is an agrarian state, leading in the production of maize, ginger, and tomatoes, and major producer of soybeans, sorghum, cowpea, sugarcane, etc. It is a key player in agricultural transformation programs in Nigeria.
The Minister of Agriculture, Muhammad Abubakar, represented by Northwest Zonal Director Agriculture, Tim Kadvintav, says Nigeria is not sufficient in maize production and had demand and supply gap of over 5 million metric tons. But now the gap is closed.
It should be recalled that before the event of this administration, Nigeria was self-sufficient in maize production and had demand and supply gap of over 5 million metric tons. However, with the support and intervention program of this present administration, Nigeria is able to close this gap and thus gradually paving way for export of maize to international markets.
Official unveiling of these pyramids as a genuine feedback to the present administration determination to lift many Nigerians out of extreme poverty and position agriculture as a business.
The total of 94.8 billion was shared to farmers across the country under the Anchor Borrower program of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Fatima Salaladan, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Knitting of clothes and decorative materials has been a source of livelihood for many families in northern Nigeria for a long time. However, some knitters say the business is not buoyant anymore. A 50-year-old retired nurse in Gombe, Christina Dadan, has been knitting for more than 3 decades. She told Trust TV that the business is threatened by hot weather condition in the north. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Knitting is not just a business to this quinquagenarian, but a lifetime hobby she grew with since she was a child.
This knitting work, I started it from childhood. My mother used to knit some caps, so I started emulating her by using some broomsticks to knit some things like that. And when I became used to it, I can knit something reasonable. So I started knitting from primary school as I craft. In those days, we used to have a course, a subject called craft, handwork. So my handwork was always the knitting work. And my teachers used to patronize it right from primary school. And when I finished the primary school, I still continue to build on it. Anywhere I see any wool work, I will ask and I will develop myself on it. And I started to knit some sweaters with knitting pins like this. There is hand knitting like this one. And even some books that have knitting work, this woolcraft of people doing home economics. Even though I didn't offer it as a course in school, home economics, but anywhere I see any handwork of wool, I will follow it and learn something in it. And I develop myself in it. I knit very well, and in fact, it helped me a lot.
Mrs. Christina's career in nursing did not stop her from the knitting job, which won her trophies in life.
I achieved a lot. I achieved a lot because with the knitting work, even though I'm a civil servant, my salary, I keep it aside. I eat what I use with my hands. This is what I feed on. And in fact, I have many assets based on my salary because I don't collect loan, I don't do anything. I eat what I use with my hand, and my salary, I keep it for projects. And it has helped me a lot. In fact, I won an award. During the time of Good Luck, there's something they do as called You Win. I use this as a business in You Win, and I won it. This knitting work, I use it. That is what I entered in as a business, and I got a lot.
How do you feel when you won that award?
I was so happy. People were saying, no, use your profession. Maybe you can build a nursing home because I'm a nurse as a professional. Maybe you can build a hospital or something. I say, no, there are many people doing that. But this knitting work, people don't like it much. They look at it as a small thing. But it is not so small as they think.
However, the retired nurse is worried that the business is not lucrative now as it used to be.
Business is not thriving as it used to be. Before, people are patronizing it. We knit their sweaters for children, for all these uniform professionals. They will request us to knit. But now, people are not patronizing it much. And the wool is so costly now. If you ask somebody, if he says knit a sweater for me and you tell him the price, he will say, it's too expensive, I better go for Okrika.
Christina now operates a shop where she sells soft drinks and showcased some of her products to put food on the table. The 50-year-old woman has a message to young Nigerians.
My advice to young people is they should not sit idle. They should find something, no matter how small it is. If they can start on something, in fact, if they grow in it, they will like that thing and it will even earn them a living. They cannot just sit and say because they are going to school, after school they will get a big job. But let them just do these small things.
Economic experts believe that government does not have the capacity to employ all graduates from Nigerian universities. However, small businesses can help youth to be self-reliant. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Now for a look at the foreign scene, where Ethiopia has announced an immediate ceasefire to its 16-month-long civil war, paving the way for aid to displaced people across the northern Tigray region. In a statement on Thursday, the government said it is declaring an indefinite humanitarian truce effective immediately, saying it hopes it will hasten the delivery of emergency aid into the Tigray region, where hundreds of thousands face starvation. Since November 2020, when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed deployed troops to Tigray, thousands of people have died, even as millions remain displaced. Human rights groups say Ethiopian troops and allied soldiers from neighboring Eritrea have committed a litany of abuses, including torture, weaponized rape, and targeted killings of Tigrayans. Rebel fighters loyal to the Tigray People's Liberation Front have also been accused of similar abuses. And that wraps up Trust TV News Hour for tonight. Don't forget, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.